Today's story is called Sheep and Goats. How many of you have seen real sheep? How many of you have seen a real goat? In Jesus' time, lots of people raised sheep and goats. They drank their milk and used it to make yogurt and cheese. They used the fleece from the sheep to weave warm clothes and goat hair to weave sturdy cloth for tents. Jesus uses sheep and goats in his story to teach us about sharing and caring. Let's hear today's lesson. Today's story is called Sheep and Goats. Jesus told his disciples they were like sheep when they cared for each other and that Jesus was their shepherd. They would be like goats if they didn't listen and didn't care. He said, "Do you remember when you fed the woman who was hungry?" "Yes," they replied. "Do you remember when you visited the old man in prison?" he asked. "Oh, yes, he was lonely," they answered. "Do you remember when you gave clothing to the children who didn't have anything to wear?" Jesus asked. "Yes, they were very cold," they remembered. "Every time you care for someone, it is like you are caring for me too," Jesus explained. God will welcome you into the kingdom of heaven. The disciples wanted to be like sheep. They knew they would be welcome in heaven. How would you feel if you were hungry and someone gave you something to eat? You see, Jesus wants us to be sheep that share. I wonder why Jesus didn't want his disciples to be like goats. Jesus told his disciples they were like sheep when they cared for each other, and Jesus was their shepherd. They would be like goats if they didn't listen and didn't care. You see, one of the differences between sheep and goats is sheep stuck together and followed the shepherd. Jesus wanted people to be like that. Goats like to go on their way and forget about other goats. Goats didn't like to follow their shepherd. You can read more about today's story from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, verses 31 to 46. Jesus said, "Every time you care for someone, it is like you are caring for me too. It feels good to share because sharing is what Jesus told us to do." It makes a difference for kids who are hungry and who need clothing when we share, just like we do in things in our community like the Stuff the Bus program or our Million Meals program here at Bethel. Shepherds took good care of both sheep and goats in Jesus' time. So today, try to remember the most important things that God gave us like Jesus. 2 things like caring and sharing. Because Jesus cared and shared, because there's a lot of need in the world, because caring and sharing make us feel close to Jesus. God bless you. Have a great day.